With quiet washes and delicate detail, Percy Gray transformed the landscape into something meditative. The showcased painting was created in 1930 by one of America's finest artists, Percy Gray. Gray was an American painter who received a bronze medal at the 1915 Panama Pacific International Exposition. He was a central figure in the early California tonalist and impressionist movements.
He actually was also very conservative, and he was one of the founders of something called Society for Sanity in Art, and they were opposed to everything that wasn't conventional, traditional, so they opposed abstraction, surrealism.
This particular painting was purchased by the guest's grandfather in the early 20th century and has since been passed down through the family.
It's signed right here and dated 1930. Do you think your grandfather purchased it around 1930?
I think so.
Do you know where he purchased it?
Well, there's a sticker on the back that says Gumps, San Francisco. So I'm assuming
that is a likely source because Gray did sell his work through Gumps.
It is signed and dated in the lower left corner by the artist, further affirming its authenticity. Interestingly, Gray executed the piece in watercolor, depicting a peaceful, idealized view of the California countryside.
At one point, he developed an allergy to oil paint, and that was when he changed to using watercolor, for which he is well known. When he used watercolor, one thing he did was to apply the color quite densely so you don't automatically have that initial reaction that it's a watercolor.
It features soft, atmospheric washes, layered to create a sense of mood and subtle depth. The sky, rendered in pale blue, adds to the painting's serene quality. The scene also includes several of Gray's trademark elements, most notably lupine blossoms and eucalyptus trees, subjects he returned to time and again. If this authentic Percy Gray watercolor of the California countryside were to come up for auction, it would be valued at...
I think if this were offered in a retail gallery, the asking price might be around $65,000.
Oh, gosh. That's interesting to know.
It's sculptural, yes, but you can still feel the poet's pen guiding every curve. Displayed on the table is a ceramic sculpture by Jean Cocteau, purchased by the guest 15 years ago.
It's a weird little piece. I liked it when I saw it. It comes from a Dutch dealer.
And do you remember how much you paid?
Yes, $580.
Cocteau was a French poet, playwright, novelist, designer, film director, visual artist, and critic. Interestingly, he drew inspiration for works like this from his close friend Pablo Picasso, who made ceramic sculptures similar to this. Picasso, one of the most influential artists of the 20th century, is known for founding the Cubist movement and inventing constructed sculpture. This sculpture bears Cocteau's signature near the base, lending authenticity to the piece. Additionally, there's an inscription on the underside indicating the ceramic studio where it was made, along with the edition number. This is number 6 of only 10 ever produced.
Original edition from Jean Cocteau, Studio Madeleine Joly, and 6 out of 10. Marie-Madeleine Joly and also Philippe Joly, the two of them were artists and had this ceramic studio. They were in Villefranche in France. This is a very small edition.
Featured on this glazed ceramic piece are stylized detachable animal horns, birds, and a female figure. The appraiser dates this sculpture to the 1960s, and remarkably, it has remained in pristine condition. Jean Cocteau's works are highly collectible, and this well-preserved limited edition would fetch a retail price of...
Easily, we would put this in at $10,000 to $15,000.
Sorry. That's fun for an ugly vase. Perfect. Wonderful.
What we have here is a vintage lamp that was inherited by the guest from her father after his passing.
I inherited the lamp a year ago when my father passed away. Back in the 50s, my grandmother worked for wealthy people in Atherton and Menlo Park area. Apparently she found this lamp that was down in the basement. It was a dirt basement, crusted with dirt, and she brought it home, cleaned it up, and she gave it to my mother.
This piece is a Tiffany Lotus Bell table lamp made by the renowned Tiffany Glass Company. The lotus shade is inspired by the gently flared petals of the lotus flower. It is composed of individually cut and leaded Favreal glassone of the hallmarks of Tiffany's studio craftsmanship. The patina on the leading of the shade does not match the patina on the base, but both components are authentic. However, the switch on the base and the lamp socket have been replaced over time.
What you would normally find on this kind of base would be a matching little ribbed switch, which basically echoes what's going on in the fluted design on the base.
On the underside of the lamp, there is a stamped Tiffany Glass and Decorating Company monogram signature. Alongside the stamp is the inscription Tiffany Studios and a 5-digit number indicating the lamp was made between 1902 and 1904. Despite the replaced parts, this lamp reflects the influence of Art Nouveau, Japanese design, and Tiffany's deep fascination with botany. In its present condition, this patented vintage Tiffany lamp would carry a retail value of,
I would say $35,000 to $45,000 retail.
That's exciting. I love buried treasure.
Me too.
a humble kitchen stool, a mother's memory, and a $50 gift that's now worth thousands. This guest chose it after her mother's passing, a favorite from childhood breakfasts in their Philadelphia home.
It was given to my mother in the late 60s by my Uncle Henry. We had it in our lovely little kitchen in Philadelphia. We had 2 others, and we loved sitting on them having breakfast in the morning. It's something I've always loved, and so when my mother died in 2013, we all got an opportunity to choose things, and this is one of the things I wanted.
What she brought in is an original stool by Wharton Esherick, a pioneering figure in American studio furniture.
Actually, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of other people are concerned, started the studio furniture movement. And all kinds of famous people came out of the studio furniture movement. George Nakashima, Paul Evans, Wendell Castle. Those are just a few, but those are really big names in the world of furniture. And Mr. Esherick started the whole thing.
Though it looks simple, this stool embodies Esherick's vision where furniture became both sculpture and story. Crafted in 1966 with an oak base and a unique biomorphic top, no 2 of these stools were ever the same.
And he would sell them locally. I've seen dozens of them. And no 2 that I've ever seen are remotely similar. All the tops are different, they're different heights, the legs are different shapes, the angles are different, and it was both functional and it was beautiful. I mean, look at this piece, look at the curves and the angles and the sloping. It's a stool, it was a simple stool.
Esherick began making these during slow periods, selling them locally to keep afloat while building a name and design. His work blends fine art with function, born of necessity but elevated by an artist's hand. This stool's curves, slopes, and irregular form reflect his belief that even everyday items deserve beauty. Remarkably, it still bears Esherick's carved signature W.E. etched like a quiet stamp of genius. Unlike most antique furniture, restoring Esherick's work doesn't harm its value, it revives it. What once cost under $60 now commands the respect of collectors and museums alike. Today, at auction, this signed Wharton Esherick stool would bring between...
Do you have any idea of what this stool might be worth?
I'm thinking about $8,000 to $10,000.
$8,000 to $10,000. Well, that is at auction today. That's just about right.
Okay.
That's exactly to the dollar. It's right. Some sold last week for a little bit above that.
Okay.
And some sell for a little bit below that. But $8,000 to $10,000 is right on.
Oh, good.
So between you and your siblings, you have $30,000 in Wharton Esherick stools.
Yes.
Discovered hidden near a London fireplace, this stitched world map has traveled far in time and value. The guest's husband found it wrapped in newspaper while restoring a house in Tottenham in the late 1950s.
The map belonged to my husband. He found it in a house in London that he and a friend were fixing up, wrapped in a newspaper, and it was hidden in a compartment near a fireplace. We very carefully unwrapped it, and then we had it the whole time we were married.
What they uncovered is a hand-embroidered double hemisphere map titled A Map of the World with the Latest Discoveries by Jane Young, dated 1791. Far more than decorative, it's an extraordinary sampler that reflects how 18th century Britain viewed the globe. The artist used no ink-only, impossibly fine needlework to depict shifting borders and distant lands.
She's showing the world from the 16th century all the way up into possibly 1750. I wonder if she used several different maps to source the material, because you see many different time periods depicted. Geographically speaking, it's a British view of the world at the time around 1740, so it's very much a colonial sentiment.
Colonial names like Negro Land and references to the 13 colonies reveal the period's global imagination. At the time, geography embroidery was a refined pastime for elite young women, blending intellect and artistry. This particular sampler stands out for its technical mastery, suggesting it may have served as a prototype for others. Most surviving maps from this tradition focus on England world maps are exceedingly rare. Even rarer is its fabric, linen instead of silk, which likely explains its exceptional preservation.
And that makes me think that it was a sampler that was maybe what we would call the mother map, or the sample map that would have been used to make other maps. As this tradition continued all throughout England, people mostly did maps of England. Very few institutions have world maps, number one. And then number two, the world maps that I've seen have been silk. I believe this is possibly linen.
Though auction records are scarce, its uniqueness and artistry place it in a category all its own. In today's retail market, this embroidered world map would be valued between
$7,500 and $8,500.
Oh, very good.
an attic discovery, an unopened pair of childhood legends, and a jaw-dropping surge in value few could have predicted. The guest's father received the games in the 1980s, but already owned them so into Grandma's attic they went untouched for decades.
These are 2 games for a Nintendo gaming system, and my dad gave these to me. They were 2 games from the 1980s, and somebody gave them to him, and he already had the games, so he didn't open them, and they were just lying for a really long time in my grandma's attic.
Now presented are 2 factory-sealed icons of gaming history, Super Mario Bros. 3 and Double Dragon, both for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Released in 1983, the NES didn't just launch a console, it launched a cultural revolution that left Atari and ColecoVision in the dust. Though these are second printings, subtle box details like the placement of bras and the shape of the Nintendo seal help pinpoint their rarity.
So the market is a little unsteady. When looking at the Super Mario Bros. 3, we know that it's a second printing instead of a first printing due to the location of the Bros in the title. A true first printing of the cartridge would have the Bros all the way to the left under the M in Mario. So just that little difference is a big deal in value.
Collectors obsess over such distinctions, like the oval quality seal on Double Dragon, which separates it from the even rarer first print.
When looking at the Double Dragon cartridge, the way we know that it's a second printing of the game is that when we look at the OSQ on the bottom, which is the official seal of quality for Nintendo, on the very first print, this would be a circular form sticker. The fact that we have the ovoid form sticker knows that this is in fact a second printing of the game.
Factory-sealed NES games were once cheap and plentiful, but the market exploded in 2019, turning nostalgia into high-stakes collecting. Even without professional grading, these shrink-wrapped cartridges command serious respect in the collector world. The Super Mario Bros. 3 still, wrapped and unread, could bring a conservative auction estimate between...
Conservatively at auction today, the Super Mario Bros. 3 would be $1,000 to $2,000.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
The real surprise is Double Dragon, thanks to its pristine seal and iconic status, is now valued between
$2,000 to $3,000 game.
Wow, that's a lot.
Altogether, this pair of forgotten games is worth far beyond what the guest imagined, and estimated
you would be at $3,000 to $5,000 in the market.
Oh my gosh, that's surprising.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Dad.
Rescued from a doomed house in 1972, this delicate treasure has quietly woven itself into one woman's life ever since. The guest discovered it while salvaging anything she could before demolition and instantly recognized its craftsmanship and Victorian charm.
As far as I know, it's tatted silk Irish lace, and from the shape and design of it, I would say it's Victorian. I found it in a house that was going to be destroyed. The destruction crew said, "You can have anything you find here." So I took it.
Wow.
And I've had it since 1972, about.
She believed it was tatted silk Irish lace, but the appraiser quickly identified it as cotton Irish crochet from the Edwardian era. This is a rare Irish lace coat, likely handmade around 1908 to 1910 by women working at home with immense care and no recognition. The coat dazzles with signature Irish motifs baubles, scalloped hems, raised floral designs, and delicate netting in between. Especially striking are the crocheted brides with bumps and the ornamental sleeve edges, which elevate it from beautiful to exceptional. It would have been worn over an Edwardian dress, adding texture and movement to the silhouette with every graceful step. Although now cream-toned, the coat was originally a bright white, and because it's cotton, it can be restored with gentle laundering.
Originally, it was white, and you can hand launder it and bring it back to that white because it's cotton. The condition is amazing.
Yes.
It's really, really in great condition, and it has something I've never seen before. 2 Irish crochet pins.
Right, for holding it onto your dress.
To fasten it, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's a lovely piece.
Its preservation is remarkable, and even more unusual, it includes 2 original Irish lace pins once used to fasten it in place. Such accessories are almost never found intact, making this example even more distinctive in the world of antique lace. A century-old garment of whispered elegance centerly, lost to rubble, now properly seen in all its Edwardian glory. Today, despite its humble rescue and quiet decades in the guest's care, this coat carries a value between
I would put a retail value on this of $2,500 to $3,000.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.